Have you ever wondered why you can never keep your home organized for more than a few days? Today I'm going to show you 10 steps that really work to transform your home into a minimalist, organized, and peaceful space. What makes these steps different is that they are actually practical. They are not just pretty theories that no one can apply in real life. In fact, I was impressed when I saw that ordinary people, without much free time, were able to completely change their homes in just 30 days by following these tips. Step number 5 is so effective that many people report an immediate feeling of mental relief after applying it. If you're tired of feeling like your home controls you instead of the other way around, this video will change your life. The most interesting thing is that you won't need any expensive products or special tools to get started. Just a few minutes of your day and a new way of thinking. Let's find out how you can finally have the organized and peaceful home you've always dreamed of. Tip 1. The empty box method. Did you know that most of the clutter in our home comes from items we keep just in case? Things that might be useful one day, but that we rarely use. This is the main obstacle for those who want a more minimalist home. The empty box method solves this problem in a revolutionary way. Instead of trying to decide what to get rid of, you start with a completely different approach. Completely empty an area. It could be a drawer, a closet, or even an entire room depending on your layout. Put everything in boxes. Now, over the next few weeks, only return the items you actually used to their original location. After 30 days, anything still in the box is probably not needed in your daily routine. It's surprising how it works so effectively. The power of this method lies in inverting traditional organizational logic. We usually think, what can I get rid of? But with the empty box method, the question changes to, what do I really need to keep? This simple change in perspective makes all the difference. One person applied this method in her home office and discovered that of all the pens, paper clips, staplers, and other materials, she only regularly used about 20% of the items. The rest was just taking up space and creating visual clutter. After identifying what she really needed, she was able to donate several items in good condition and properly dispose of the rest. The result was a much more functional and pleasant workspace, where she could quickly find everything she needed without the constant distraction of clutter. Start with a small area, like a kitchen drawer, and notice the positive impact this technique will have on your relationship with objects. Tip 2. The 90-90 rule. One of the biggest difficulties for those who want to adopt a more minimalist lifestyle is deciding what to get rid of. We keep so many things for emotional reasons or for the famous phrase, one day I'll need it. The 90-90 rule is a powerful tool to help us with these difficult decisions. It works like this. Take an object and ask 2 questions. First, have I used this in the last 90 days? Second, will I use it in the next 90 days? If the answer is no to both questions, it's time to let this item go. 90 days, or approximately 3 months, is a significant period spanning an entire season. If you haven't worn that coat all winter, and probably won't wear it next winter, why keep it taking up space in your closet? This rule is especially useful for seasonal items like clothing, sports equipment, and decorations. The most interesting thing is how this rule helps us to be more honest with ourselves. We often keep things not because we really need them, but because we feel guilty about the money spent, or because we associate memories with them. The 90-90 rule forces us to face the truths about our real habits, not our imaginary ones. One person applied this rule to her shoe collection and was shocked to realize that out of the 30 pairs she owned, she had only worn 7 in the last 3 months. When he honestly thought about the next 3 months, he realized that he would probably wear the same 7 pairs. This allowed her to donate more than 20 pairs of shoes in good condition, freeing up significant space in her closet and simplifying her morning routine. There is no need to apply this rule to everything at once. Start with a specific category, like kitchen products or beauty products, and notice how that changes your perception of what you really need. Tip 3. The one out, one in system. One of the reasons our homes become more and more full over time is because we keep acquiring new items without getting rid of old ones. It's like trying to fill a glass that is already overflowing. The one out, one in system solves this problem very simply and effectively. The rule is easy. For every new item you bring home, a similar item must go out. Did you buy a new shirt? An old one needs to go. Did you win a book? Donate another one that you have already read. Have you purchased a new kitchen utensil? Get rid of the one you use the least. It sounds simple, but this system is revolutionary because it interrupts the cycle of constant accumulation. The most interesting thing is how this rule affects our consumption habits. When you know that you will need to get rid of something to make room for the new item, you start to think twice before making a purchase. You ask yourself, is this really better than what I already have? Is it worth replacing something I already have? This makes us much more conscious consumers. One person who adopted this system reported a significant change, not only in their home, but also in their shopping habits. Before, she often bought on impulse, especially clothes on sale. After implementing the one out, one in rule, she realized she was making much more careful choices, preferring quality over quantity. Within 6 months, she had reduced her wardrobe by half, but now owned pieces she truly loved and wore regularly. Start by applying this rule to a specific category, like electronics or decor. Over time, you can expand it to all areas of your home. Hey guys! Before continuing with the next tip, I wanted to ask a little favor. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive notifications of new videos like this. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Your participation is super important to me. Now let's continue with more steps that actually work to make your home more minimalist. Tip 4, the 3 questions technique. Often, the difficulty in getting rid of things comes from indecision. We become paralyzed, thinking about whether or not we should keep a certain item. That's where the 3 questions technique comes in, a simple but extremely effective method for making clear decisions about your belongings. It works like this. For each object you have doubts about, ask these 3 questions. First, does this bring me joy? Second, does this have a specific and frequent use in my current life? Third, would it be too difficult or expensive to replace this item if I needed it in the future? If the answer is no to all 3 questions, it is a strong indication that you can get rid of this object. The power of this technique lies in how it addresses different aspects of our relationship with objects: the emotional, the practical, and the economic. Some items may not have much practical use, but they bring us genuine joy, like a special souvenir or a piece of decor we really love. These items have their place in a minimalist home. On the other hand, there are objects that do not arouse special emotions, but are fundamental in our daily lives. The third question helps us overcome the fear of, what if I need this one day? By making us realistically assess the difficulty of replacement. One person applied this technique to his book collection, which occupied several shelves in his home. She realized that many of the books no longer sparked joy, had not been consulted in years, and could be easily found in libraries or digital versions if necessary. After applying the 3 questions, she managed to reduce her collection by more than 70%, keeping only the volumes that really mattered to her. The freed up space was transformed into a comfortable reading area, ironically making her read more than when she was surrounded by hundreds of books. Try applying this technique to a small collection of objects first, like your kitchen utensils or personal care products, and notice how it makes decision-making easier. Tip 5. Minimalist schedules. Minimalism isn't just about reducing the number of objects in your home. It's also about simplifying your routine and creating more mental space. This is why minimalist schedules are such a powerful tool. A minimalist schedule is one that includes only the essentials, with intentional spaces of free time between activities. Unlike a traditional schedule, full of commitments from the beginning to the end of the day, the minimalist schedule prioritizes quality over quantity. To create a minimalist schedule, start by identifying your true priorities, the activities that truly add value to your life and well-being. Then, eliminate or drastically reduce time devoted to activities that are not aligned with those priorities. This could mean saying no to social engagements that don't excite you, limiting the time spent on social media, or abandoning hobbies that you pursue more out of obligation than pleasure. The most transformative aspect of minimalist schedules is the space they create. When you don't fill every minute of your day, you have time to breathe, to think, to be spontaneous. One person who implemented minimalist schedules reported a noticeable change in their stress level. Before, she was always rushing from one appointment to another, always feeling like she was late or overwhelmed. After simplifying her schedule, keeping only essential and meaningful activities, she realized that she was able to dedicate more attention and energy to each task. Her home also remained more organized because she had time to put things away after she used them. To start implementing minimalist schedules, try setting aside one day on the weekend as your minimalist day, a day with few or no scheduled appointments, where you can slow down and just do what you feel like doing. Then gradually begin to bring this principle to the other days of the week. Tip 6. The memory box technique. One of the biggest difficulties for those who want a more minimalist home is dealing with sentimental items, old letters, notes, children's drawings, small travel souvenirs. These are things that have no practical use, but carry important emotional memories. The memory box technique offers a balanced solution to this dilemma. It works like this. Choose a nice, medium-sized box, not too big, as the objective is to limit the number of items. This will be your official memory box. Gather all your sentimental items from around the house and select only those that truly spark positive emotions and meaningful memories. Put them in the box. Anything that doesn't fit needs to undergo a more rigorous reevaluation. The principle behind this technique is simple. By physically limiting space for sentimental items, you are forced to prioritize. Not all memories need a physical object to exist. Some may be preserved in digital photos or simply in our minds. The memory box helps us make that distinction between genuinely special items and those we're keeping just out of habit or guilt. One person applied this technique to his children's memories. She had boxes and boxes of school drawings, little crafts, and other souvenirs from their childhood. After implementing the memory box, she selected only the most significant pieces from each phase, photographed the rest, and then donated or discarded the items. The result was a much more meaningful and accessible collection. Instead of boxes stacked in the back of a closet that were rarely opened, she now had a beautiful box of memories that sat on her bookshelf, which she and her children revisited often. If you have a lot of sentimental items lying around the house, try gathering them all together first to get a real sense of the quantity. Then select the most special ones for your memory box. Remember, the value of a memory is not necessarily tied to a physical object. Tip 7. The principle of empty surfaces. One of the most striking features of a truly minimalist home is the presence of empty, clean surfaces. Tables, benches, sideboards. All these horizontal spaces tend to accumulate objects quickly, creating a visual sensation of disorder even when the house is relatively organized. The empty surface principle proposes keeping at least 50% of each horizontal surface completely free. This creates an immediate feeling of calm and order in the environment. To implement this principle, start by evaluating every surface in your home. What objects really need to be there? A helpful criteria is to only keep items that you use daily or that have an intentional, meaningful decorative purpose. Everything else should be stored in drawers, closets, or if not really necessary, removed from the house. The visual and psychological impact of empty surfaces is surprising. Our eyes and minds naturally seek spaces to rest, and free surfaces provide this visual relief. One family who implemented this principle reported a noticeable change in the atmosphere in their home. The mother described how in the past, the kitchen counter was always so cluttered with small appliances, containers, and other items that it was difficult to find space to prepare a meal. After applying the principle of empty surfaces, keeping only the essentials in view, she noticed that not only did the kitchen look bigger and more inviting, but also that daily cleaning became much faster and simpler. To start, choose a surface in your home. It could be the living room coffee table or the bathroom counter, and remove everything from it. Then, only return absolutely essential items. Keep it like this for a week and notice how it affects your perception of space and your mental state when you are in that environment. Tip 8. The photographic recording technique. We often keep objects not for their practical use, but for their sentimental value or the memories they represent. This is perfectly understandable, but it can lead to the accumulation of items we rarely see or use. The photographic recording technique offers an elegant solution to this dilemma. It involves photographing sentimental items before getting rid of them, thus preserving the memory without taking up physical space in your home. It works especially well for large objects like old family furniture that doesn't match your current decor, collections that take up a lot of space, or children's items like baby's first shoes or childhood toys. To implement this technique effectively, take the time to photograph items carefully in good light. You can create a small digital or physical album with these memories, organized by categories or periods in life. The power of this technique lies in the understanding that often what we value is not the object itself, but the memory it represents. And memories can be preserved in many ways, not necessarily keeping the physical object. A lady applied this technique to her grandmother's old sewing machine. It was a large object, which took up considerable space in her small apartment, but she was unable to part with it due to its sentimental value. After photographing the machine in detail, including her grandmother's initials engraved on the side, she was able to donate the item to a fashion school where it would be used and valued. The photos were printed and placed in a small frame on her wall, allowing her grandmother's memory to remain present in her daily life in a way that took up much less space and even integrated better into the decor. To get started with this technique, identify a category of sentimental items in your home. These could be travel souvenirs, old clothes you no longer wear, or birthday cards you've accumulated over the years. Photograph them with care and affection before deciding to get rid of them. Before continuing with the next tip, I want to tell you about something special that I prepared for those who want to go beyond this video. It's a complete guide with organization secrets that completely transformed my home and can transform yours too. The link is in the pinned comment, and for a limited time, I'm offering a special discount for channel subscribers. Now let's continue with the next tips, which are some of my favorites. Tip 9. The 15 minutes daily routine. One of the biggest difficulties in maintaining a minimalist and organized home is the feeling that the task is too big to be faced in the middle of an already busy life. This is why the 15 minutes a day routine is so effective. Instead of dedicating an entire weekend to organizing your home, which many of us never find the time to do, you dedicate just 15 minutes a day, every day, to advancing your minimalist goal. These 15 minutes can be used for any task related to minimalism: organizing a drawer, selecting clothes to donate, cleaning a surface, evaluating a small collection of objects. The important thing is that it is a daily commitment at the same time to create the habit. The power of this routine is in the consistency. 15 minutes may not seem like much, but over the course of a week, it adds up to almost 2 hours. In a month, more than 8 hours are dedicated to the process of simplifying your home. Most importantly, because it's a small, manageable commitment, you're much more likely to stick with it over the long term. One person who implemented this routine chose to dedicate 15 minutes every morning, right after coffee, to a minimalist task. For the first month, she focused solely on her bedroom, working on small areas like a dresser drawer or a closet shelf each day. By the end of the month, her room was completely transformed, not by a big, exhausting reorganization, but by small, consistent daily steps. The most interesting thing is that this routine also changed his mindset regarding possessions and organization. By taking time each day to evaluate and organize her belongings, she became much more conscious about what she brought home and where things belonged. To start this routine, choose a specific time of day that works well for you. This could be in the morning before you leave for work, or in the evening before you get ready for bed. Set an alarm on your phone to remind you of this daily commitment. Start with a small, manageable area and move forward consistently. Tip 10. The model house technique. Our last tip may seem a little unusual at first glance, but it has a surprising impact on the way you view and organize your home. The model home technique consists of choosing a minimalist-style visual reference that you admire. It could be a photo from a magazine, a hotel environment you visited, or even a friend's house, and using it as concrete inspiration for each area of your home. Instead of having a vague idea of what you want to achieve, you'll have a specific image to guide your decisions. To apply this technique, start by collecting images of environments that reflect the minimalist style you want. These can be photos from magazines, images found on the internet, or even photos taken by you in places that inspire you. Organize these images by environment: living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, etc. Now, as you work on each room in your home, have the corresponding image as a reference. Observe carefully what makes that environment so pleasant and organized. Is it the limited amount of objects, the free surfaces, the neutral color palette, strategic use of lighting? Try incorporating these elements into your own space. The power of this technique lies in transforming an abstract concept, minimalism, into something concrete and visible. This makes it much easier to make decisions about what to keep, what to remove, and how to organize your belongings. One person who applied the model house technique reported an interesting experience. She had always tried to organize her home, but never achieved the results she imagined. After choosing reference photos for each environment and using them as a guide, she realized that many objects she considered essential were not present in the environments she admired. This helped her make more rigorous choices about what she really needed to keep. Furthermore, she noticed that the reference environments had a visual coherence, colors, textures, and styles that harmonized with each other. This inspired her to create more unity in her own decor, resulting in a much more visually pleasing space. To start, choose a small room, like the bathroom or hallway, and find a reference image that represents the minimalist style you want to achieve in that space. We have reached the end of this journey through the 10 steps that really work to create a minimalist home. Remembering, the empty box method helps us identify what we really need. The 90-90 rule makes it easier to decide what to keep. One out, one in system prevents constant buildup. The 3 questions technique guides us through difficult decisions. Minimalist schedules create space in our routines. The memory box organizes our sentimental items. The principle of empty surfaces brings visual calm. The photographic record preserves memories without taking up space. The 15-minute daily routine makes the process sustainable. And the model house technique gives us a concrete vision of what we want to achieve. Minimalism isn't about living with almost nothing or having a home that looks like a decor showroom. It's about creating a space that works for you, that reflects your true priorities, and that facilitates the kind of life you want to lead. It's about having less to worry about and more space to live. Now I want to challenge you to start today. Choose just one of these techniques, the one that resonates most with you, and start applying it. Don't try to do everything at once. Remember, minimalism is a journey, not a destination. Every small step brings you closer to a more organized, more functional home that is more aligned with your true priorities. And tell me in the comments, which of these techniques will you try first? Or perhaps you have already applied any of them. What was your experience? I look forward to hearing your stories and continuing this conversation. Until the next video,